Would you look at that? It's another exciting day. Today I get to enjoy Invincible for the 10 millionth time, and I get to watch some of that, you know, that good stuff on the hub. Let me just look at my channel real quick. Oh yeah, I forgot I made this video a while ago. That video probably didn't even get any views at all. Who would want me to watch such a horrible monstrosity, right? I hate my life. After a few months, the day has finally come. The sequel to my most hated movie had finally released. I said in the last video that if I were to get 500 likes, I would force myself to watch it. I never thought that was gonna happen. I just did that as a little goof, but no, you guys really wanted to torture me for some reason. Thank you for that, by the way. And what did I think about it? Well, I'm gonna get to that later because I can't be bothered to talk about Sausage Party Foodtopia for 8 minutes straight. I need my ad revenue, even if it's only 2 pennies a month. I'm just gonna talk about a couple other things that I actually care about before I get to, well, this thing. The first thing that I watched was The Boys Season 4 was honestly one of my most anticipated seasons of television this year. As you may or may not know, I am a very big fan of The Boys, and it's become one of my more recent favorite shows.
Blow A Train.
What the fuck?
It also helps that the last season was arguably the best that it's ever had.
Might want to lay off the weed, huh?
And you might want to gargle my ballsack.
With Season 4 around the corner, people were excited about it, including myself. I was also really excited for The Boys because I was really excited to see Kimiko again. Oh my god, I love her so much. She's the best character of the show. And now with Season 4 out, did it live up to the hype? Was it as good as the last season? Well, no. In fact, it might be the worst season of the entire show so far, but that doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, this is still a pretty enjoyable season of the show. It's not very far off from the other ones either. I just found this one to be the worst, but it is still very enjoyable if you are a fan of The Boys. So before I get into any of the nitpicks that I may have had, let me get into some of the stuff that I liked. I liked that this season focused on characters heavily. It should be a given that every time Homelander is on screen, it's just amazing. Homelander is just slowly becoming more and more insane. And this should be no surprise, but Anthony Starr is just phenomenal as Homelander. I think he is due for an Emmy. I think he's giving out one of the best villain performances of all time. He makes you feel what you need to feel. He makes you feel uncomfortable. He even makes you feel oddly sympathetic for him until you realize he's just an awful person. I think the stuff they do with Butcher is also really cool. I like that they show more of his vulnerabilities. I like that actually trying to change. And he has this whole like devil and angel complex going on. Even if the plot twist was really predictable and everybody saw it coming, and towards the end he just like, bro, what is that? Why does he have— I think the stuff that they do with Huey in the first half with his dad is pretty interesting as well. I do think initially it was a little slow, but later on it started to pick up. The stuff with his dad is genuinely really emotional. But I do think Huey's writing does take a nosedive in the later half of the season, but I'll get to that later. I like seeing MM in the leader position, and I like seeing the side effects it has on him. I like that the Deep is starting to become more and more violent. It's like the one guy in the friend group that everybody makes fun of, and then he just snaps, he loses it. He's still really funny. I mean, the fact that he can't even say capybara, it's been stuck in my head.
I'm the peak of human evolution, and you're just a capybarnia.
Even though I miss the old Black Noir, I think the new one is pretty funny. I just love the fact that he's a yap machine. Hey, murdering people is pretty cool. It gets me hard. I like that Sister Sage is just really smart, and she's the one just pulling the strings behind everything. And Firecracker, she's kind of a bitch. I mean, no one really likes her. But by far, my favorite part of the entire season was A-Train's redemption arc. I love what they do with A-Train in this season. And I just love that scene where he rushes MM to the ambulance. And I love that that scene has no dialogue. It just tells you visually what that means for him. A-Train has quickly become one of my favorite characters of the show just because of this arc alone. But despite liking a lot of aspects of this season, there was also a few things that I didn't like so much. I mentioned it earlier, but even though I liked what they did with Huey in the first half, I think in the second half, he's kind of just like neglected. He gets SA'd and they don't really address it. And trust me, I'm an Invincible fan. I know what it looks like to properly address assault. Like, if you know, you know. I also wasn't really that invested in Starlight this season. The stuff that they do with her was kind of boring. Some of the most endearing stuff was Huey and Starlight's relationship, and it just felt like they weren't really a couple in this season. I do kind of like the stuff that they do with Kimiko. I mean, any scene with Kimiko I'm gonna love. I mean, like, come on, it's Kamiko. I also felt like they didn't really focus on it after like a few episodes. They kind of just ignored it. Maybe they're gonna wrap it up in the next season, which is what I hope they do, but it just felt like they kind of ignored it. But I think the stuff with Frenchie is really repetitive, and I really think there's a lot of potential for other things you could explore with this character. But I do like where those two end up at the end. But that finale, dude, oh my god. Seeing everyone just get captured, Ashley turning into a fucking alien, Kamiko talking due to a traumatic experience, which was also the reason why she stopped speaking in the first place. Bro, why would they do this to you, baby girl? You deserve so much better than this. So even though this may have been the worst season of the show so far, I do think that this season is still very consistent with the other 3 seasons. I'm very excited to see where they go. I'm gonna give The Boys season 4 an 8 out of 10. It's pretty cool. It's not too bad. And now to the next thing that I watched. I'm pretty sure everybody in the world knew about this movie. Even my mom knew about Deadpool and Wolverine. But Deadpool and Wolverine was a highly anticipated movie. I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited for this movie, because I was excited, but I also did have to remain skeptical because the MCU has been through sort of like a hit or miss pattern recently. So what did I think about the movie? Was the movie good? Did it suck? It wasn't too bad. It was fun. It's far from the MCU's best movie, but I do think it was a fun movie, and it's really hard to hate, especially if you're a comic book fan. Deadpool and Wolverine's dynamic is by far the most entertaining part of the entire movie. Seeing those two together on the big screen is like a dream come true as like a comic book fan. I also think that Hugh Jackman does deliver a good performance as Wolverine. I was worried that he was gonna half-ass it, but no, it seemed like he genuinely had fun being there. Ryan Reynolds is always great as Deadpool. You can tell he really loves this role. Some of the cameos are kind of just like, oh, look at that, it's that guy. But I also think that a decent amount of the cameos serve the plot as well. Gambit is really funny. He's genuinely my favorite cameo of the movie. The humor in this movie is also most of the time pretty good. Sometimes it does cut the tension of some scenes and ruins some serious moments. Even though this movie was really fun, I do think it struggles with its pacing. I do think that they should have slowed down a bit sometimes, because I feel like some things just don't hit as hard as they could. The villain, Cassandra Nova, kind of sucks. Like, her motives are very inconsistent, and she wasn't really threatening too, which is really odd because she's the most powerful villain in the Deadpool franchise by far. I also do think it's kind of stupid that they were hyping up Wolverine's backstory, and his backstory is just that the X-Men's dead. He didn't even kill them himself. He's just really sad about it. I'm like, okay, well, that was kind of underwhelming. But yeah, despite the issues that I have with this movie, I still think this is a very fun movie. It's nothing too crazy. But yeah, I don't have much to say about this movie. I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10. And now the moment I've been dreading this entire video. Bro, I hate this show. Oh my god, why did you guys make me watch this, bro? You guys all know Sausage Party is my most hated movie of all time. You guys, for some reason, really wanted me to watch this. As the day came, I decided to watch it, which took me over a month to finish, by the way. Was it really as bad as I thought it would be? No. It was somehow worse. I don't even know where to begin with this show, because there's just so much that's bad about it that I don't think I'll even be able to convey all my feelings about it in this video. It's really weird that they got rid of a lot of their cast, probably because like a lot of them were racist. Just probably not a smart idea. Also, the animation in this show is just horrendous. The movie's animation was also pretty mid, but the fact that the show looks this much worse is crazy. Like,
Jack, it's not you, man, okay?
His mouth isn't even moving, bruh. You'll see moments where it just looks very janky. Why does it look like that when he's moving? Look at this. Why does it look like that?
I was just gonna like pass the hut.
They better not have sex in the end, I swear.
They probably will.
Oh, there's an ad. Oh, thank you. We got a break.
Oh, I'm nutting.
Is that Jennifer Lopez? Oh my god.
See? That's another reason.
Also, the comedy in this show is really bad. Like, it's just a bunch of food puns.
Perhaps it would help if I tell you my origin story.
Like, the characters can't even go a single episode without making a food pun. None of the comedy works in the show at all.
That's left one bun murdered in cold bread.
See what I mean? There's puns. That's all it is. Like, what?
I was more concerned about that right there.
This show's voice acting is also really bad. Normally I wouldn't really complain about that because it's Sausage Party, but in this show they try to attempt some emotional stuff and it just doesn't work at all. And yes, this show has a lot of very cursed moments. There were times where I just stopped the show, like I couldn't finish it. There is a literal scene where a human has sex with a hot dog. I don't even know, like, were they high making this show? The show was so bad, it made me want to watch My Dear Friend No-Katan instead. Which is honestly not even that bad. 10 out of 10, best anime of the century. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't even be watching the show. Are you happy now? I'm not mentally sane anymore. I've changed for the worse, guys. I even got my friend DJ to watch this, and he hated every second of it too.
They couldn't be creative with the titles 6th course, 7th course, 8th course.
How do you go from the greatest show of all time to fucking Sausage Party Prime?
I hated every second of it. I didn't even watch the worst parts of it. I don't recommend this to anybody. I think Amazon should just delete it forever. They should just delete the movie as well.
But yeah, this entire show, I just wanted everybody to die. End the entire Sausage Party verse. The characters suck, the comedy sucks, the pacing sucks, everything about it sucks. It is genuinely one of the worst shows I have seen in a long time. But yeah, this show sucks. I hate food now. 1 out of 10. The only reason this show isn't a 0 out of 10 is because Teen Titans Go is somehow still worse.
James, I noticed that you think you can sing, but this is the remix with Stephen Curry. You should probably not quit your day job, so put down that mic and stick with basketball.